Welcome back to the Young and Powerful Men podcast. I'm Jason Morgan.
I'm Colin Terry.
I'm Landon Futch.
And I'm Jaden Sumter. In this second episode, we're stepping into the harsh realities of the part 2 of The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. This is where the story starts to show deep damage caused by the system and how it mirrors real history in terrifying ways.
Let's be real. What happens at Nickel Academy isn't just fiction. It's based on facts. The school in the book was inspired by the Dozier School for Boys in Marianna, Florida. For over a century, Dozier operated under the radar while abusing children. Kids were beaten, locked away, starved, and even killed. There's a direct link between the White House in the novel, where Elwood and other boys were whipped, and the real building at Dozier, where those horrors actually happened. What makes it even more disturbing is that people knew. Locals knew, the state knew. But because the victims were black, poor, or powerless, they were ignored. Whitehead doesn't over-dramatize this. That's an authorial choice. He keeps the tone calm, matter of fact, and that's powerful, because it mirrors how abuse often hides in plain sight. There's no warning, just silence, just pain behind closed doors. It forces us to think, what else have we ignored because it was easier not to see?
Elwood and Turner are trapped in a place that claims to be a school, but it's really a prison. They're surrounded by rules that are impossible to follow, punishments that are extreme, and adults have all the power. Turner knows how to play the game, but Elwood doesn't, and that's where we see a key difference in how they survive. Elwood still believes in justice, in Dr. King, in goodness, but Whitehead is showing us that in a place like Nickel, belief alone won't save you. That's heartbreaking, and it reflects how real young men, black boys, indigenous boys, poor boys, are crushed in the system that claims to be helping them. That brings us to a bigger connection. What happened in Nickel didn't just happen in Dozier. It happened in Indian boarding schools across the U.S. and in Canada. Thousands of Native children were taken from their homes, stripped of their languages, their cultures, and punished if they resisted. Some never returned. Their families never got answers. It was a cultural lie masked as education. Just like Nickel, those schools used discipline as a weapon. Just like Elwood, those kids were told to be quiet, be obedient, and accept the pain as part of the reform. It wasn't just healing, it was about control.
That's really great, Landon. When you line these histories up, Nickel Academy, Dozier, and Indian boarding school, you start to see a pattern of instructions built to crush identity, to enforce obedience, and erase resistance. And it's not just an American story, it's global. Take Australia, for example, the stolen generations. Thousands of children were taken from their families by the government and placed in white-run schools and homes. They were told their culture was worthless, and their only value came from becoming more white. That's the same logic Nickel runs on. Erase who you are or suffer. Whether it's South in the 1960s, or Canada in the 1930s, or Australia in the 1950s. It's the same blueprint of oppression. Whitehead's novel quietly connects us to this truth without ever leaving Elwood's story. That's a brilliant move. He focuses on one boy in one school, but the echoes are everywhere. We see, in a way, the character responds. Some shut down, some give in, and some, like Elwood, keep hoping. The hope becomes a symbol, not of survival, but how belief can be both powerful and dangerous when the system is stacked up against you. It's like Whitehead is saying, being good doesn't always keep you safe, especially when the system wasn't made for you.
And maybe that's the hardest part of part 2. Elwood still believes. He still thinks that he can be honest and respectful, and it will earn him fairness in life. That's what makes his journey so painful, because we, the reader, already know that being faithful and being fair isn't enough. Dr. King's words are noble, and he believes them. And he really believes them to the point where it makes him vulnerable. Turner shows us this because he wants us to believe that he's not a villain. And he wants us to show us the hope that Elwood has. Elwood's hope is what really inspires the boys. Boys who were just beaten, boys who were buried. Some of those graves at Dozier were only found the last decade. And honestly, Elwood's beliefs and his hope is what really carries the boys together. because it's out of sight. The book doesn't answer why he's so hopeful, but that hope is just there, and it's never going to be taken away. And that's just the power it has.
Thanks for joining us for part 2 of the Young and Powerful Men podcast. This episode was produced and hosted by Jason Morgan, Cohen Terry, Landon Futch, and Jaden Sumter. Next time, we'll break down the final section of the Nickel Boys and talk about justice, what it means, who gets it, and who gets forgotten. Until then, keep asking hard questions, keep reading deeply, and stay powerful.
Great job.
Really, really, really